Hello everyone, or perhaps more appropriately anyone, unfortunate enough to have clicked on this video. My name is Philiqui, and if my voice hasn't annoyed you enough to move on to another video just yet, I'll be talking about a Forex strategy game that can easily draw comparisons to the most prominent and well-known Forex series out there, and that's Sid Meier's Civilization. Do they still use his name? Oh, oh, it appears that they still do. I wonder how involved he actually is in the series at this point. Is it like a Tom Clancy kind of thing? Oh, well, that's a different story. For this video, I'll be talking about Humankind. That's right, not Mankind, Humankind. Strange they simply didn't go with Mankind, but I imagine that title would have simply been too manly. Quick aside, yes, I know this game has been out for a while now, but like I imagine many of us do, I have a backlog of games that I just started working my way through, and I can't justify buying new games without getting some hours out of the ones I already own, have. Humankind has a lot going for it. However, the one thing that really stood out to me was the combat. When two opposing armies or navies meet, the battle that ensues is resolved through a tactical turn-based strategy minigame. There is no loading screen from the main map to the mini battle map, and the mini battle map actually takes account of the geographical features of the main map. Basically, you don't get placed in some generic or loosely related map to where you are in the main map. The battle takes place right where you are on the main map, with the battle map's geographical features appearing in the same position as they would in the main map. I really enjoyed this feature of the game, as it actually made me give some thought to the layout of an area before engaging in a battle. I would often maneuver my forces to take full advantage of the terrain and to beat larger forces and less often better tech armies. The rest of the combat mechanics and systems are pretty standard stuff. Spearmen beat cavalry, archers are vulnerable to melee, and so on. As you progress through the tech tree, the basic rock, paper, scissors relationship between the units remains the same, with the overall advantage always being held by the more technologically advanced unit. Each civilization does have its own unique unit, and as anyone who's played this kind of game would expect, the unique unit has a specific or general advantage over the generic unit type of the same category and tech that other civilizations can field. As civilizations move up the tech tree, your civ's unique unit ultimately becomes outdated, but as you meet certain objectives, you'll be able to change your civilization, which will unlock their stronger, more advanced units, or unlock a stronger, more advanced unit. For example, you might be playing as the English and have the option to train longbowmen, but you'll have to advance to the British Empire to have the option to train redcoats. What makes things really interesting and a bit random is there is no limitation to changing your civilization. For example, you might be playing as Rome for the Classic Age, but 2 eras later, and you could end up playing as, I don't know, Japan. I wasn't all that fond of this system at first, but after my second playthrough, I realized it works well with what the game is trying to accomplish. What I mean by what the game is trying to accomplish is, say you're playing the Egyptians early on, very first stage. Well, not the very first stage, but the very first stage past the Neolithic, where you're just playing as nomads. The game the game gives the Egyptians heavy advantages to its builder slash construction capacity. Now you can continue this advantage into your next civilization choice, that is, pick another civilization that focuses on its construction, or you can switch things up by picking a civilization that focuses on its science, its agriculture, its military, whatever it might be, to build up your faction's ability in one of those areas. It took me some getting used to, but I did enjoy trying out different combinations of civs in an attempt to take advantage of how the game was playing out, or to try and meet a deficiency in my faction's output of, say, science, agriculture, commerce, or whatever else it might be that I'm trailing behind. Another aspect of the game that I found really enjoyable was that battles actually had repercussions beyond the immediate loss of units. The game has a system that measures how much war support a civilization has. When you go to war against another civilization, you generally need a high amount of war support. If after going to war, your war support falls to zero, you are essentially forced to sue for peace. One of the fastest ways to lose or gain war support is to lose/win battles. I found this really enjoyable as I always found it slightly irritating that in certain games you can win battle after battle and it has little to no meaningful effect on the people you're fighting. I still remember playing Rome Total War. a Rome Total War campaign where, in the span of something like 10 turns, I probably defeated the same Gallic faction in over 20 battles. And still, the faction conducted their diplomacy as if nothing ever happened, or as if they never lost those battles. I realize the game mechanics and systems in Rome Total War were designed for this to be the case, but I do like playing a game, but I did enjoy playing a game where battles mean more to conflict slash war than simply the immediate loss of units. Visually, the game is impressive, but nothing off-striking. It's enjoyable seeing your distance go up around the main plaza of your city or watching construction projects like roads, mines, outposts show up throughout the map. Nothing new, but solidly executed. Units and buildings look fine. Environmental terrain, if you push up the graphical settings, can look very impressive. As I was expecting, I enjoyed the loop soundtrack, but its charm did wear off. After a while, I just went ahead and played my own background music. I missed out on the unique sounds of the units and the terrain, but not a big loss. I suppose I missed out on the witty and wise sayings read by not Sean Bean, but oh well. What else? Oh, there is a unique thing where you can customize your avatar in the game and assign to your avatar unique bonuses that can be earned by completing objectives in one of your playthroughs. While this is an interesting feature of the game, I can't help but to suggest that leader changes in the game will go a long way. Having one immortal leader carry your faction all through the game misses out on the intrigue and surprises that come with changes of leaders. That is, if you're playing a monarchy, securing your ruling family might be more important than securing your borders. It's just a suggestion and something that I would like to see more of from these kind of games. I really enjoyed it in Old World, and it's fair to say that this is different than Old World, but I do think it can be incorporated, and it would add a lot to this kind of game in a very positive way. Ultimately, Humankind is an interesting and addicting 4X game that does a lot of things right and introduces some novel features. While there is a lot that anyone who has ever played a 4X game will find familiar, there is enough to set it apart in a good way. The dual advancement tree is there. That is, you advance through a tech tree, tech, science, innovation, whatever you want to call it tree, and then there is a cultural policy tree. There isn't much to say about the cultural tree other than it gives you bonuses that slightly enhance slash complement your civilization's inherent abilities and advantages. The occasional scripted events do pop up that demand a decision be made about how to proceed, which in turn will lead to some bonus beneficial or detrimental consequences. You could receive a new unit by accepting a wandering band of nomads into your society, or you could have a city grow in its discontent to your rule by deciding against their interest, whatever that might be. Unfortunately, after a few playthroughs, these events lose their novelty and become expectedly if they become expected if not simply repetitive. Another issue that I ran into is that the AI makes some pretty odd choices when it comes to how it moves its units. I never found it difficult to outmaneuver them or simply bottleneck them. Oh well, 4X AI has never really been known for their complexity and situational awareness. If you can overcome being overwhelmed by another civilization's army or simply avoid being out-tech, then you'll be fine. It's really kind of disappointing how easily you can defeat the AI if all other things are equal. Alright, I'll wrap it up by saying that Humankind provided a worthwhile 4X gaming experience that kept me playing even though I knew in the back of my head that I probably should stop and go to sleep. The game definitely persuaded me to play one more turn several times consecutively. If you want a 4X game, 4X strategy game, and even if you are already invested in another 4X strategy game, this one is definitely worth a try. Putting my entirely arbitrary rating scale to work, I'll go ahead and give this game a 4 out of 5 bowls of porridge. The dual body good, but be careful not to eat too many. Anyway, Thank you for listening or watching, or both. Till next time.